Good morning. This is Steve Caton with the National Weather Service in Blacksburg. It's Thursday, September 1st, 2016, about 8:45 in the morning, and we thought we'd provide a briefing regarding the latest forecast situation with Tropical Storm Hermine. At this time, we do not expect a significant impact to the Blacksburg forecast area, but as some of you may be aware, yesterday a lot of the forecasts shift the track farther west, suggesting there may be some impact in the Piedmont areas, especially of our region. As of overnight last night and this morning, that track has again shifted back to the east, so less of a concern, and we really think given the overall weather pattern that's the most likely scenario. But we wanted to cover it, just let you know we're monitoring this, and you all should continue to monitor the latest forecast throughout the weekend as well. But at the moment, we're not particularly concerned. Here's the latest map as of early this morning, showing the tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico, some heavy rain already along the coast. But the feature I want to draw your attention to is this cold frontal boundary in West Virginia and eastern Kentucky. That'll be pushing through our area today, and there may be a few showers and thunderstorms along that. We'll say a little bit more about that in just a minute. But that feature, along with the pretty strong high pressure that's up in Canada and will be pushing across the Great Lakes, should really keep Hermine well off to our south and east over the next couple of days. So again, we're pretty confident that that will not have much, if any, impact on us at all, but we do need to keep monitoring it in case something changes, everything slows down, and maybe the system tries to push up again a little bit farther west. I don't think that'll happen, though. So let's take a quick look at the forecast maps just for the next day or two. You can see already by early this afternoon that frontal boundary is pushed out into the Piedmont areas, a few showers and storms along that. And again, some of those could produce locally heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds, a lot of lightning, but we're not really anticipating any severe weather threat with these storms. If it is, it would be very, very isolated at best. But heavy rain probably the biggest threat, but it won't last very long with any one of these storms. As we go in through tonight and into early Friday, you can see that frontal boundary really pushes all the way to just about the coast in North Carolina. And Hermine has now come along shore. It is forecast to increase to a Category 1 hurricane just before it makes landfall, and then soon after it does, it will weaken again. But again, this will should stay well off to our south as we go through Friday night into Saturday morning. You can see then that's forecast to be along the coast with the strong high pressure now over the Great Lakes, really helping to keep that to our south. So those two features, the frontal boundary and the high pressure, are really should keep it away from us, other than perhaps a little light rain getting into the Piedmont areas. But as I mentioned before, we'll be watching this very carefully to see if there are any potential shifts back to the west. So the current track, as of this morning, 7 a.m. this morning forecast, shows it increasing to a hurricane just before making landfall along the Gulf Coast of the Florida Panhandle, but then tracking pretty close to the coast, or maybe just inland of the coast, and then heading back out into the mid-Atlantic and really kind of stopping there and spinning for a while, which is of concern to those folks up along the Delmarva Peninsula, New Jersey, Long Island. They'll have to watch this very carefully over the weekend and into early next week. But for us, right now, even the westernmost track, the western edge of this white cone here, would probably have very little impact on our Piedmont areas. It might bring some light rain up to Danville, South Boston areas, maybe some breezy conditions, but not really strong winds. But again, more likely it'll be following this track more closely to the coast. So we don't expect this is going to shift back to the west any, but we will keep an eye on it. You can see the current model solutions, all the various potential tracks for this thing, do keep it pretty close to the coast, or maybe just inland. They're tightly clustered, which is a good thing to see. We have some confidence in the solution. Yesterday, some of these solutions did show a path back towards the west, maybe back up into central Virginia, and that was of concern. But given that weather pattern I just talked about, we weren't really too worried about it coming too far west with that high pressure. So again, it's good to see things have shifted back to the east, and we suspect they'll probably stay on a track like that and again have very little impact on our area. So if we take you through the precipitation forecast, which would be, if there's any concern at all from this tropical system, it would be the precipitation. Today's forecast through today and tonight shows most of that heavy rain as the system is making landfall later on tonight across the Florida Peninsula. We do have a little bit of light rain. Again, this will be the average precipitation spread out across the area from some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms as this front pushes through. But you can see this band down here south of Charlotte and down along the North Carolina-South Carolina border. That's where the frontal boundary will be later this afternoon as the heating really gets going. So we think maybe more organized storms down there, but not impacting us so much. But scattered, or widely scattered, across some of our area, especially the Southwest Virginia mountains and out into North Carolina, Piedmont, potentially later on this afternoon. As we get into tomorrow, again, you can see the track of Hermine. Very, very heavy rainfall, of course, the coastal areas. For folks that have plans going to the coast by Friday, that could be a problem. But you can see this tight gradient on the western side, and perhaps some light to moderate rain could briefly get into the far southeast corner of our Piedmont, maybe around South Boston, Caswell County, perhaps as far west as Danville, but only some sprinkles probably getting up to about the Blue Ridge, unless this thing does take a shift back farther to the west. And you can see if it did, you might get amounts of an inch or so getting closer to the Blue Ridge, potentially, if it shifted back to the west, which we don't think is going to happen. And then by Saturday into Saturday night, this is the forecast rainfall as it moves back off the coast of Virginia and North Carolina, and you can see really dry conditions for most of our area. So, and that's what we're really expecting for much of the area through the weekend, is very, very nice, cooler, drier conditions. So I think most folks will see a very nice weekend, but there is a potential, if you're in the Piedmont areas, especially out towards east of Danville, South Boston, as I said, that a little rain from this track of Hermine could get into the area. And so we'll keep an eye on that. But right now, again, the track is to our east. We don't anticipate doing any more weather briefings throughout the weekend unless the track does appear like it's going to shift back to the west again and we'll have more concerns. Then we'll do another briefing probably later Friday, and we may have to continue them into Saturday. But right now, we anticipate this will be our only weather briefing, just letting you know we're monitoring the situation. We don't anticipate any concerns right now, but please keep an eye on weather.gov, the National Hurricane Center webpage. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter throughout the weekend just in case things shift. But right now, I think things are looking pretty good. So thanks for your time, and I hope you have a safe and pleasant holiday weekend coming up. Thank you.